Hey there, welcome back. This is a tutorial series on the Cirklon Aux Events. These are sort of the holy grail piece of the Cirklon, arguably. It'll allow you to program really anything you want into it. You can think of them as sort of like MIDI effects, like you'd see in Ableton or on the HeyPack sequencer. Today we're going to look at the repeat events style event. These are kind of the first ones that I dove into before I even read the manual, which I haven't fully read. I'm reading it with you right now. And I think I kind of thought of it as like a ratchet style effect. Yeah, diving right in. Well, first and foremost, I'm Matt. I'm a Bay Area musician, and this is my good friend, the Elektron Digitone, which is what we're sequencing with the Cirklon. Watch the previous video on set step values to figure out what's going on here. It's just a continuation of that sequence. Cool. So repeat event group used to create repeats of notes within the same step. They're useful where you want the occasional double speed note without having to use a faster T-bass setting, or for those Berlin School grace note effects. The first repeat note events all divide the step into equal parts for the main note and the repeat notes. So a repeat 2 will divide the step into 2 equal parts, and each note will play for a proportion of their half of the step based on the length value for that step. That was a mouthful. I'm having some indigestion. Repeat 3 will divide the step in 3 equal parts, and repeat 4 into 4. So those are the 4 options. It's not like, I don't think there's any like repeat N style in this, which would be kind of cool. Like if you could change the value of N to 8 and it would do it, divide it into 8 pieces, but you're limited to 2, 3, and 4. We will start with repeat the note twice with a note offset, because that one's really obvious. Let's create a new sequence and ditch all of this MIDI channel probability stuff going on. It's fine when you use the set MIDI channel, it like maintains that value even if you, like I have my MIDI channel set to 1 here, but because the last thing it did was change the value to 5, it's maintained that. Not sure if I agree with that decision. So I just went back and let it randomly switch back to the first channel. Okay, so just with a value of 0 on the repeat, let's turn off the delay. With the repeat 2, you can hear it's just like double triggering on the same step. Now it'll do it 3. So yeah, it's got that like ratchet effect. But then if we change the actual value, so now it's just at 0, so it's repeating it. If we change it, then it'll actually increment or decrement every iteration of the note. immediately cooler than I expected. We are in a scale of major C right now, so it's just making sure it's always quantized to that scale. But it's kind of creating this cool strumming effect. Let's like modify the patch a bit to make it more FM-y. I like it. I wonder what happens. Well, just to finish this out, we'll switch this to velocity. So it's pretty subtle because it's decreasing the velocity. The velocity is currently set to like max value on the step. But then it's ratcheting the note. Basically 4 notes are happening within that single step, but the velocity is decreasing by 29 each time. Or if we make it a little more obvious, minus 15. So you have this really nice, like if this were a snare drum, even with sort of this marimba-y sound, it's really sweet, like ghost note effect. Okay, so it seems we can only really affect note and velocity. Although it looks like we have these variations that we'll get into a second. I'm interested in if you can have these things in parallel. So can I have velocity decreasing along with note? So I think that would be... I kind of want that strum effect to die out. I think you can. That's amazing. Cool. It's funny, these sort of like, I mean, I haven't read the manual on this part. I've been using this effect, this aux event, regularly since I got the Cirklon, but these things go so much deeper than you anticipate. Anyway, the value ranges for all these events is plus minus 127. I think we figured this out without having to read this. Basically, it's just explaining how the values change. Oh, great. It actually mentions explicitly that you can combine these two things. For each of the repeat events, there is an equivalent pre-peat event. These behave in almost the same way, except that when a pre-peat event is active on a step, a negative delay value is applied to the step, such as the repeating notes begin before the normal step time. I have no idea what that means. So I'm assuming it means like the step before. I mean, clearly it's happening before it's made it all wonky. So I turn the metronome on the Digitone. I don't know, you can hear it like leading up. It's kind of, I don't know, it's shifting everything prior. Doesn't seem like something I'd really use, if I'm being honest. But just experiment, see what sounds good. It's kind of the point of all this stuff. Let's keep on going. The next repeat event is a bit different. It doesn't equally divide the step among the repeat notes. It simply repeats the note after the length setting for the step has elapsed. If the length is too long, you may get no repeats. If it is very short, you can get very rapid streams of notes. Since this event takes a value for the number of repeats, another couple of events are provided to configure note and velocity offsets if required. Repeat n by length sets note to repeat n times with length of note. Okay, so I believe this is what I was saying didn't exist before. Of course. Set repeat note offset for repeat n. Set repeat velocity. Okay, so you can like program and you can use these 3 aux events to just create your own repeat stuff. I think this is the end of this section, so we'll finish reading and then we'll experiment with that. One event new to Cirklon allows you to retain the length value as normal by specifying the repeat time in terms of the standard P3 T-base settings, repeat n T-base. This event must be used in conjunction with repeat n by length. Yeah, okay. Finally, the step repeat n event will cause the whole step to be played repeatedly before playback advances to the next step. Note, this will increase the effective length of the bar. Each step can be repeated up to 256 times. So that's very cool. The OPZ and OPXY is a similar thing where you can just repeat a step. Let's just do that one real quick because it'll be quite obvious what happens there. I'm going to see if we can stack this event onto these strum events. Weird. Love it. Sound like a slot machine. Okay, so it's just effectively repeating everything that happens on that step by however many times. It's like literally just triggering the step over and over, which is why it can modify your bar length or your pattern length. You can get some really wonky timings with that, which is cool. I'd be interested, I'm not going to explore this right now, but I'd be interested in combining that with probability to see if the probability values remain the same when it repeats the step, or could you have like a step repeated 16 times and the probability value of whether it's masking another aux event is changing. You can probably get really weird with that. It might just maintain the same probability value. But I want to check out some of these other events first. Okay, we're gonna turn these off and try to figure out what this means. Okay. So, I mean, I understand we have this repeat n by length. That's obviously making it repeat 8 times. We have these custom properties that modify that, that are obviously related. So we can set the note value and the velocity value, similar to how we were doing it before with that single event. What I'm slightly confused by is the 8 repeats clearly aren't taking place in that single step. I thought maybe the time base event would do that, but the time-based one clearly does some kind of repeats based on the time-based value. I don't care enough to figure that piece out. So I'm putting another step. I'm putting a step on the second, putting a note on the second step to try to figure out the exact division of this repeat effect. So a value of 1 does nothing. Value of 2 is clearly dividing the step in 2. But a value of 3, that third note on the repeat is coinciding with the second step, I think. And then the fourth is actually basically the second step, the second half of the second step. So it seems like it's dividing it. Like if you set 8, it's gonna last 4 steps. I'm not sure if there's a way to change that. I mean, I'm making folky music with sequencers, so I'm not going to be dividing a step into 24 notes. But I'm surprised that there isn't a way to, create these insane ratchets for the IDM heads out there. I just set that step to repeat 259 times. Okay, we're gonna call it there. There's obviously still a couple more questions. But we learned some cool things. I really like the velocity decrement coupled with a note increase. Just gonna do that again. Yeah, I dig it. Cool. If I make a follow-up video, or if I figure out this other piece, I'll throw it into another video, but I think that's all for this one. Thanks for watching. Next step, we'll be covering redirect aux events, which is where things start to get even trippier than they already are. Thanks. Bye.